Hey sweetheart, it's good to see you again. Good to see you again. Today I brought a book, one of my favorite books. It was a while ago we were reading a book together, right? And I hope you're gonna like it. I hope it's gonna be interesting for you too. As much as I love the book. It's very cultural, non-fiction. Really interesting. We just take it slow, right? You can just sit back, close your eyes, focus on my voice, just relax. The book's name Mongolia, Faces of a Nation. I really love it. This is just the perfect stuff if you cannot sleep right before sleeping. I do always have my book on my night table, my bed table, right beside my bed. You know, somehow it always brings me away right before sleeping somewhere far away in my dreams, and it improves my sleep too. So I just want to share the good experience with you too, and I do really hope it will help you to fall asleep. Okay. Let's jump into the book without any further ado. Just close your eyes. Close. I just think I begin with forward. I begin right from the start. Hope that's okay. I hope it's okay. Close your eyes. Just relax. Focus. Just focus on my voice, okay? Good. During the numerous trips that I made to Mongolia, I've been bombarded by a wealth of new and unfamiliar impressions. The natural world, so rich in contrasts, brings many surprises with its distinctive characteristics. All of which make the Central Asian country so unique. But it was the open-hearted and hospitable character that the people showed towards me as a foreigner, which awakened my greatest affection and fondness. I was deeply moved and affected by being able to participate in their lives, to experience their genuine satisfaction at their modest existence, and to share their happiness and their concerns, both large and small. Over time, passing acquaintances have grown to become firm and lasting friendships, and my Mongolian friends were happy for me to join them at family celebrations and to become a part of their personal activities. I have experienced the country undergoing change. The focus is no longer on being the homeland of the great Mongolian Genghis Khan, but on the current situation within its society and the fate of the individuals that make up that society. The people are facing a period of rapid development and are having to handle and come to terms with a conflict between the modern and traditional, with a mix of poverty and wealth, and with a situation of shortages and excess. And all of this results in attitudes and behavior that can be contradictory and inconsistent. It's interesting. Inconsistent. Contradictory and inconsistent. Contradictory and inconsistent. Contradictory and inconsistent. I'm delighted to be able to let you share in the encounters and experience that I've had. This book, Mongolia, Faces of a Nation, reflects the events and the feeling of closeness to the people that I was privileged to experience on my trips through this fascinating country. Frank Riedinger, fascinating country. The next capture. Dasha, the shaman. The initiation ceremony of Dasha, the shaman, has not yet started when I reach the weekend house north of Ulaanbaatar. Children are playing around the parked cars. A man on a horse moves through the assembled guests. I look around searching for a familiar face. Then I hear my name being called out. Dasha's friends and relatives are waiting for me in the shade of a house. But Olga, who I'm also meeting here, says somewhat ambiguously that the evocation of the spirits will only be successful once I'm present. I doubt that to be the case, but his serious expression makes me unsure. I notice a few pensive looks. For some, the upcoming ceremony seems to be a bit disconcerting, and they question what the unusual family gathering portends. To welcome us, we're all given a small silver chalice as we arrive. are genitally filled with milk and vodka. Milk, milk, milk. To start with, the chalice has to be offered up to heaven, accompanied by expansive gestures, and then the contents have to be downed and won. At the same time, you're meant to whisper your most secret wishes. You're meant to whisper your most secret wishes. 8 years earlier, Dasha had visited a shaman society in a capital in order to give support to a friend of his. His friend's mother was seriously ill, and it was uncertain how long she still had to live. When Dasha started questioning the shamans, they became infuriated and dismissed him angrily. Scared and intimidated, he asked them why they were reacting like that. They told him that they saw in him a connection with the heaven. His ancestors had also been shaman. He should be able to know himself what the fate of his friend's mother would be. Confused and alienated by the experience, the two friends went home. It's interesting. Dasha started to suffer from fainting fits accompanied by allergic skin reactions, which he had never had before in a meeting. He visited 4 Mongolian shamans who all pronounced the same judgment. You have been selected. You must become a shaman. The fainting fits should be seen as a sign from heaven. If you don't take this path, something bad will happen to you in the future. It's really interesting. After a long period of reflection and consideration, Dasha decided to become a shaman. In his normal life, he's a gallery owner and an artist who enjoys life surrounded by the security of his family. It's not easy to take on board the trappings of shamanism as an older person. So Dasha secured the services of an older, very experienced lady teacher who was able to give him advice and support in all aspects of the faith. Now the old shaman lady is attired for the ceremony, as her assistants move around her making the preparations. I see the colors of the garment flashing. The light of the midday sun captures every detail. The sky is cloudless, transparent blue. We are led into the garden. Just close your eyes. We are led into the garden and positioned in a large circle. The The circle stands empty, its center still concealed. Scarcely any of the spectators appear to know what awaits us. And Betula's command keeps going around in my head. I ask myself, how should I behave? As Dash's friend, I'm one of the invited guests, and I'm allowed to photograph the ceremony as it unfolds. That is a mark of trust, and I don't want to make any mistakes. Fortunately, I have my camera at the hand, and as soon as I start to take some pictures, I feel more secure. But I'm aware of the effect it will have on others, and I have to respect it. Next to me, I hear Dasha's father talking. He is looking towards the man standing next to him, and both are talking about the cost of the weekend house that is still in the early stages of construction. An ear-splitting drumming interrupts the conversation, and as if she has sprung up out of the ground, the shaman lady is standing behind me. Shocked by her sudden appearance, I move to one side. Accompanied by rhythmic drum beats, further gestures, and gyrations of her upper body, the shaman teacher dances into the cycle made by the spectators. Everyone is looking at the whirling figure, the hollow, pulsating beats, the sounds and the movements, the drumming and the dancing all merge into one. It cannot be long until she achieves a state of trance. She falls heavily to the ground. She has sensed the nearness of a spirit. Now her young assistants bring forward some selected persons whom I use this opportunity to question her about their fate. I see a mix of anxiety, hope and joy in their faces, and their reactions, and the sheer horror as she pushes one of them away violently. The spirit that has invaded her has cast this person out. The whole thing lasts about half an hour. Once she has awoken from her trance, it is Dasha's turn. He plays the same rhythm on his Jew's harp over and over again, until he too falls into trance. It's still not certain whether Dasha is suited at all to being a medium. Doggedly continuing to play on a small Jew's harp, he summons up the spirit. It is noticeable that he interjects the same beat time after time. He appears to be weighed down by respect and awe. It can never be predicted which spirit will come to the shamans. It can be one of several spirits who, with their different characters, can cause distress to even an experienced shaman. Relax. I sense a very wild and angry spirit is showing itself through Dasha. The sight of my friend as he dances like a dervish, clad in his costume covered with small tinkling bells, sends shivers up and down my spine. Dasha sits at a table that has been prepared for him and starts eating and drinking. The food disappears in no time. More buzz, Mongolian dumplings filled with meat, have to be fetched in order to satisfy the hunger of the shaman student. Or the hunger of a spirit who consumes vodka like water and devour unbelievable amounts of food. Unsavory lip smacking and grunting come from his direction. I have to keep remembering that behind the black fringes of the mask is my good friend, who I met and got to know during the winter as a clever and gifted businessman dressed in a pinstriped suit. Let's finish this capture so that we can continue the next one in our next reading. Okay. Unsavory lip smacking and grunting come from his direction. I have to keep remembering that behind the black fringes of the mask is my good friend, who I met and got to know during the winter as a clever and gifted businessman dressed in a pinstriped suit. After the feeding frenzy is over, the bizarre creature abruptly tips the table over. He adopts a threatening posture and begins to dance around the dumbfounded guests, pulsating violently to the shaman drum, which shudders under the heavy blows. The spirit calls one of Dasha's relatives to him and, concealing nothing, lays bare the shocked and frightened man's feature. Ashen-faced, he listens as his fate is revealed. The spirit then throws Dasha to his knees and gesticulates towards the bearskin that is hanging over a chair in the garden in preparation for the ceremony. Immediately, an assistant brings the bearskin to him. Nobody wants to antagonize the spirit that now seems to be out of control. It checks the bearskin to see whether it is acceptable, together with the boots that Dasha will wear later as a shaman. Contemptuously, the objects are hurled back at the feet of a young assistant. Gradually the bell starts to fall silent and the drum beats die away. The shaman student becomes quieter and awakes from his trance. His companions helps him out of the ropes. I also go up to my friend. Surrounded by his friends and relatives, he sits on a chair in the garden, exhausted. Does he know how much he has eaten and drunk? He says no. Dasha has no recollection of what has just happened. More sessions are needed to be able to function as a shaman. This, however, was one of the most important of all the sessions, as here the spirits drew close to Dasha and showed their trust and confidence in him. And now we can just safely drift off. If you haven't already, let's read the next capture next time. Okay. I hope you liked the book, or at least the capture. being with me. Thank you for watching, listening, relaxing, supporting, liking, commenting, subscribing. Donating. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dankeschön. Tusen tack. Arigato gozaimasu. Большое спасибо.